Everyone laughed when Luca said he wanted to build flying machines, not airplanes, not drones, flying machines like something out of a fantasy novel. His classmates mocked him, his teachers dismissed him, and even his father, a once patient man, sighed and muttered, "You need to be more realistic, son." But Luca couldn't help it. Since he was 6, he dreamt of gliding above rooftops, wind on his face, freedom beneath his feet. By 18, his garage was filled with sketches, scraps of metal, broken prototypes, and notebooks stained with coffee and hope. Yet every time he revealed his latest creation, people rolled their eyes. "Dream smaller," they'd say. "Grow up." Luca had gotten used to rejection, but what hurt most wasn't the ridicule. It was the silence. The world ignored him like a ghost, as if his voice didn't matter. His ideas were impractical, childish, a waste of time. But to him, they were real. He could feel them in his chest like fire. Still, doubt crept in. Late at night, he'd stare at the ceiling and wonder, what if they're right? What if I'm just broken? There's a strange pain in wanting something the world says you can't have. You start questioning everything, not just the dream, but your worth. Luca began walking with his head low, barely speaking. He stopped showing his work. Each failed attempt wasn't just a setback. It felt like confirmation that he wasn't enough. One evening, after his 4th major prototype crashed during a small-town expo, Luca stood alone beside the wreckage, while people whispered, "He'll never learn." His hands trembled as he picked up twisted metal wings. His heart was heavier than the engine. He almost gave up that night. Almost. Back home, Luca dropped his bag and walked past the mirror in the hallway, avoiding his reflection like always. But something made him stop. He turned and looked, really looked. What he saw wasn't a failure, it was a fighter. His face was tired, yes, but it held determination. His hands were dirty, but they had built things others were too afraid to even imagine, and in his eyes, behind the exhaustion, there was still a flicker, a spark. He whispered to his reflection, "I believe in you." At first it sounded ridiculous, but he repeated it, again and again, louder each time, "I believe in you." That night, Luca didn't sleep. He rebuilt. Belief didn't erase failure. It only gave him strength to keep going. The next 6 months were brutal. Every morning before sunrise, he worked. He learned aerodynamics from free online courses. He scavenged parts from scrapyards. He tested, adjusted, and tested again. His prototype still crashed often. He broke 2 fingers during one launch. He lost power in his house for weeks after overloading the system with a failed turbine. He was mocked online when someone leaked a video of him face-planting during a test flight. But something had changed. Now, every fall was a step forward. He no longer heard the laughter. He heard the echo of that mirror whisper, "I believe in you." Then came the morning. The sun hadn't fully risen when Luca stood at the edge of the cliff with prototype 27 strapped to his back. It was sleeker, lighter, stronger. He had tested it a dozen times tethered to the ground. But today was different. He took a deep breath, eyes locked on the horizon. The wind howled, and he jumped. At first it was chaos. The wings flapped awkwardly. The ground rushed up. His muscles screamed. But then, lift. The wings caught the current. The machine responded to his motion like a second skin. He soared, not far, not high, but he soared. Even if only for 30 seconds, he flew. When he landed in a field below, rolling through the grass, he laughed like a child seeing snow for the first time. His knees were scraped, his lip was bleeding, but his dream had tasted real. Years later, Luca would give a TED Talk. He had built a small company designing human-assist gliders for recreational use. Investors once laughed at him. Now they lined up. His machines were not the future of aviation, but they changed lives. Kids with disabilities experienced their first moments of free flight. Adults rediscovered childlike wonder. But Luca never bragged. Instead, he ended every talk the same way, holding up a mirror to the audience and asking, "What do you see?" Then he'd say, "You don't need the world to believe in your dream. You need to believe in yourself, loudly enough to silence the doubt and patiently enough to rise after every fall." Self-reliance isn't just surviving without help. It's daring to stand by your vision when no one else will, and building wings with your own hands, even if they break 100 times. Because the truth is, the world doesn't give you belief. You earn it by refusing to let go of your own.